Operations of the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITEX, will likewise be suspended starting Tuesday. Likewise, motorcycle backriding is once again not allowed over the next couple of weeks. The PNP-HPG, or Highway Patrol Group, says this applies even to married couples and common-law spouses.
Yung sa motor po, kasi po dapat 50% lang po yung capacity na allowed. So sa motorcycle, isa lang po yung allowed talaga. Bawal na naman po yan, sir.
And in a hearing today, House lawmakers called out the lapses in the government's Hatid Tulong program. Besides the poor condition of locally stranded individuals over at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, they also discovered that almost 50 LSIs tested positive for COVID-19. Ria Fernandez with the rest of the story.
It was all due to the heavy rain. This is Presidential Management Staff Assistant Secretary Joseph Encabos' defense as to why the Rizal Memorial Stadium was brimming with stranded locals.
When the technical working group convened and decided to cater them a day before the implementation, unfortunately, we were hit by a heavy rain. And the normal reaction of these people is to immediately convene and look for shelter.
Speaking before a House hearing on the government's Hatid Tulong program, Encabo, the initiative's lead convener, vowed to fast-track the return of about 7,000 locals to their home provinces. But with Metro Manila and nearby areas reverted to modified enhanced community quarantine, add to that the weather, he said it will take time. While most lawmakers were willing to make considerations, Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez questioned how authorities screened LSIs for COVID-19. That comes after 48 individuals are still waiting for their swab test results after the rapid test returned positive. An LSI was also allowed to travel without getting tested, only to test positive upon reaching his hometown.
Dito po kasi nung panahon ng SONA ay magkasama tayong dalawa. Nag-swab test. Parang nag-swab test sa umaga. Kinabukasan, nakuha na namin yung result eh. Asking for the response from the Red Cross, Your Honor, kawawa din because the longer they stay in the quarantine facility, the more it becomes traumatic on their part.
Anak Kalusugan Party List Representative Mike Defensor pinpoints the program's organizational structure. Encabo explains that the Presidential Management Staff acts as the lead convener of the program, with partner agencies like the DILG, DSWD, DOH, and DOLE.
Sabi niyo nung umpisa ninyo that you are all of equal footing and no one is the head of the task force. Baka po yun ang napakalaking problema natin. I think we need to put up a primarily yung head agency na mag-head sa task force para po yung command responsibility na tinatawag po natin. At at the same time, para hindi po alam po natin kung sino po yung talagang tatanungin sa mga problema.
Lawmakers also discussed the possibility of disclosing the names of the people who tested positive for COVID-19 for public awareness. Some of them also want the mandatory use of the StaySafe.ph app for easier contact tracing. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
We're pausing for a quick break, but One News Now will be right back after that. Stay tuned. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Despite heeding the medical community's call to tighten lockdowns in high-risk areas, President Duterte did express some negative feelings over what he called a revolution against his government. Marian Enriquez is joining us live from Manila to give us the updates. Maan, what was the reaction of doctors after last night's briefing by President Duterte?
Sean, health workers say they are not trying to pick a fight with the government, contrary to what President Rodrigo Duterte was implying last night. Much has to be done, they said, and it all starts with a unified plan of action.
And I haven't mentioned the other time.
We are not at war with the government. This was the response of medical frontliners after President Rodrigo Duterte took as an affront their recent recommendations on the fight against COVID-19. After recognizing the exhaustion of health workers, the president in a briefing Sunday night changed his tone, slamming them for going public with their concerns instead of coursing it through the formal channels. Despite government implementing a lower level lockdown than what they hoped for, Philippine Medical Association President Jose Santiago Jr. said this is still a welcome development.
Ito'y malaking bagay. Itong 2 weeks, although it's very short, but it's very long for us since we're going to take a lead time for us to really slow down the transmission of virus.
Santiago added that they are one with government in fighting the pandemic.
Wala po kami ibang iniisip po kundi makatulong at makipag-collaborate po sa DOH-ITF. No? Ito po yung aming pangako sa inyo. Kami po ay tutulong sa namang hakbangin nyo.
Philippine College of Physicians Vice President Maricar Limpin also denied any bad blood with the government.
We are not even criticizing the government. Hindi ho kami nagko-complain. In fact, nagbibigay ho kami ng solusyon sa gobyerno.
Healthcare professionals raised concerns over the shortage of health workers, as well as a much-needed improvement in contact tracing and quarantine methods, as well as the delays in the distribution of cash aid, among others.
And that is also the reason why, kung napansin ninyo, we are calling for one lead agency that will actually lead everyone.
The group also clarified that they are not seeking the removal of Secretary Francisco Duque as health chief. However, the PCP says they do want to see better leadership from the DOH.
I do not propose that.
Sean, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said in a press briefing earlier that they will be meeting with the Healthcare Professionals Alliance to work on the recalibrated strategies that they will be implementing. Sean?
Thanks for that, Maan. That was Marian Enriquez joining us live from Manila. And the return of Metro Manila and nearby provinces to MECQ might reduce projected infections by 50,000. Researchers from the University of the Philippines said that the move could significantly reduce the virus's transmission rate. The group projected that COVID-19 cases in the country could hit 220,000 by end of August if NCR remains under GCQ.
Kung magtutulungan tayo, ang taong bayan, ang private sector at ang gobyerno, lalo mapaigting ang T3, mas mataas pa ang kasong masisave natin. So ulitin ko, 220,000 ang amin estimate projection sa August. Pero dahil nag-MECQ tayo, bababa between 50 to 70,000 ho ang bagsak ho minus doon sa mga bagong kaso.
And there are now over 106,000 COVID-19 cases in the country. More than 3,200 new infections were reported today, with some 80 cases removed from the total case count. As it stands, there are still 38,000 active cases in the Philippines. Our country now ranks 25th in terms of infections worldwide. That is based on the World Health Organization's COVID-19 dashboard. 46 rather, succumbed to the virus, pushing the COVID-19 death toll to around 2,100. The DOH also reported 275 new survivors, bringing the total recoveries to more than 65,800. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.